Hey everybody, this is Duane. It's Sunday, October 20th, and I wanted to talk about what had happened over this past weekend with physical silver. As many of you know, silver had probably one of the best days, probably a top 5 or a top 10 day, with silver being up over 6.5%, and getting through major resistance of 32.50 that's been hanging over the silver market's head for months, it seems like. But we finally blew through it, and we reached 33.69, up 6%, and it was done on a day that gold was only up 1%. Now gold's already at all-time highs in dollar terms, and also I know reached $4,000 in Australian terms, watching that currency depreciate. So gold had a relatively decent up day with being up 1%, but when silver's up 6%, this is the kind of movement that I expect when we have a silver squeeze, that it's going to, whatever money ends up floating into the precious metal space, it's going to have more impact, more oomph, more volatility to the upside than what gold is, because gold's a much bigger and thicker, deeper liquidity market. Silver has been drummed almost out of existence. So just saw a statistic about how the U.S. Treasury once had 3.5 billion ounces of silver. And then after 1965, after they demonetized silver after Kennedy was killed, the silver supply of that has been totally decimated and used up by industrial uses. And that's where we've been for most of this time, that we've been off of silver standard when we had silver in our currency prior to 1964. And then we went to an oil standard, which is what's been going on until recently, where the Saudis now are buying and selling oil for any currency, even the dollar. So that was, so Friday we had this big move, and it moved in a way that is what I'm trying to get to with the silver stacking community, is that eventually I think we're going to get to a 1-to-1 gold to silver ratio. And yesterday's or Friday's movement, when silver was up 6% and gold was only up 1%, made for a 5% change in the gold to silver ratio, down from 81 to 84 ounces of gold or silver to 1 to 80. So if we got 3 weeks of this kind of volatility into the market, we could have a 1-to-1 gold to silver ratio in less than a month. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but crazier things have happened in the financial markets during hyperinflations. So this is coming on. The only news that I saw in the market was the Putin pivot, where Putin, the last video that I did, talked about how they adding silver to the Russian central bank. And then the article said that they had stocked 92,000 tons of silver, which is, I think, just about 2 billion ounces of silver. And this was leading what China had. China, they said in the same article, had 72,000 tons of silver. So if there's 32,000 ounces for every ton, it's about 2 billion ounces of silver that they've accumulated already. Now, they said that 2 billion ounces represented about 15% of the global inventory of physical silver, and that seems about right. There seems to be about 24 billion ounces of silver, about 3 ounces for every person. But you have to remember, all those ounces are not in the form of being able to be used. Some of it is in silver shot, silverware, silver coils, silver coins, silver, everything. It's got 10,000 industrial uses. Silver is the second most versatile commodity in the world, next to oil, with 10,000 industrial uses. And the same article that I saw, that the Putin pivot, talking about how Russia is now stacking silver in their central bank as a monetary metal, talked about the financial demand that's a new financial demand of silver that is already being strained by the industrial demand of electric cars and solar panels and circuitry and AI and all the technology that's being used up by big corporations like, we just mentioned Samsung another video ago, talking about a silver solid state battery that vastly outperforms lithium. You get a 600-mile charge out of 1 9-minute charge. It's absolutely amazing numbers that Tesla cannot touch right now with the current lithium batteries that they have. And that the silver solid state battery that Samsung had is just another one use that's going to use a ton of silver to have these cars get charged in 9 minutes to go 600 miles. Truly amazing use. But another article that just came out on October 18th from the Jerusalem Post, again, Jerusalem posted the article about Putin pivot and talking about how the federal their bank's buying it. Now the next article that they talk about silver is military consumption of silver may far exceed industrial demand. That the military demand could be as 15 times higher than any other industry. That's out of the Jerusalem Post. So we just got done talking about how there's a Samsung silver solid state battery that's coming onto the market, and then all the uses in solar panels and circuitry and soldering and all this other stuff. Silver is the best conductor of electricity, the most reflective. It is antimicrobial, anti-cancer. It's the miracle metal, and we treated it and used it and abused it under the banking system into near extinction. And there's going to come a point where everything's going to change. And I think that we've reached that point on a dollar term by breaking through this 3250 resistance level that served as a 44-year cup and handle formation that's going to lead to a complete revaluation of physical silver much higher. And then the next question is, once we get to $50 silver, people are going to be going, well, what's next? And I said the next thing that's going to do is going to go to 100 and 200 and 300 and 1,000 and 10,000, and it can keep going up if we get into a hyperinflation where the dollar is being destroyed. We can have a singular asset hyperinflation where it's just revaluing silver against gold at a 1-to-1 gold to silver ratio. And I think there's a tremendous amount of logic that goes behind that ratio, considering that there's 6 times more gold above ground than there is physical silver. And the current gold to silver ratio of the mining is 1-to-6. So if you take the 6 times amount of more gold above ground and below ground, you got 6 times more silver. It equals out to a 1-to-1 gold to silver ratio, at least on a going forward basis. This would lead to a massive revaluation of physical silver and reward all the silver investors who've been hanging on for so long as the markets breathe in and out all this debt, which is a global generational debt-based fiat Ponzi scheme. Try saying that 3 times fast. So anyways, I was really pumped up. I took a look at eBay. There's a lot of activity on our older silver shield coins. I'm looking at a couple of them that did like $200, $300, $400. And these were all sold back when, silver was $50, $60 an ounce when you were buying them. So the silver shield coins are going up relatively faster than the underlying price of physical silver, and I expect that to continue until we get to a point where Silver Shield's actually been, promoted or shown on a show like InfoWars or Joe Rogan podcast. At some point, there's going to be a crossover, and there's going to be a reckoning, a day of judgment, a day of atonement, or a day of reckoning. It's coming, and it's going to be reflected in the price of silver. I think what we'll end up doing is we're going to end up getting to $50 really fast. But at that point, the silver shorts who are short 165 days of annual or global silver production are going to find out that they can't get that physical silver, and that the price of the silver that's available is going to go up tremendously. So I wanted to make a pretty short video about this. There's a lot of good stuff that's been going on with physical silver, and I think that's the reason why we were up 6% on Friday. And if we get this out and we get enough people buying silver, this can continue on a daily basis until we break through. So I appreciate it. I'm feeling a little hoarse talking about all this stuff. But you can follow me on Twitter at SilverShield76, and then you can follow me on Rumble, SilverShield76 here. It's been I appreciate you listening. Thanks a lot. And then the other thing is to go to my website called ChrisDuane, Every week I release 2 new Silver Shield coins, one for the public, one for the Silver Shield group. Those who support me through this entire mission have been on it for 13 years, trying to come up with all these silver solutions to all of our unconscious debt-based problems. All right, thank you. Bye.